joining today. We have Linda here to give us a talk about going wide. I will make sure, sounds like there's a little bit of an echo. I'll try to speak quickly. I'll make sure this is posted at the end. Linda, go have at it. Enjoy yourself. I'll be on mute.
Okay. Well, hi, everybody. I wish I could see your faces and we were in person, but oh well. I want to talk about selling wide today. And I'll give you a little bit of background. A few years ago, when I started publishing, being an indie meant publishing wherever you could. And then Amazon invented Kindle Unlimited and put an exclusivity rule on as part of the package. So your choices are being exclusive to Amazon or going wide and publishing on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kobo, Apple, and all the many other places. So it's things have shifted, and a lot of people are still happy being exclusive to Amazon, and a lot of people are not. First up, I'm going to talk about ebooks. When people are talking about being in KU and being exclusive to Amazon, they're talking about ebooks. And I've always been uncomfortable with KU because I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket. So basically, I've struggled with being in KU, and I've done it a few times with some of my stuff, and now I'm pulling everything out because they've been there long enough and I'm not getting any traction. This is a couple years old, this graphics, and I haven't seen any recent data on where things are at right now, but 2 years ago, romance was killing it in KU. And science fiction, fantasy, teen and young adult, those were the big, strong sellers in KU. If you were doing nonfiction and bios and memoirs, KU was not such a good deal for you. So if y'all find any data on what's happening now, that would be fabulous. I've looked and I'm not seeing anything. And maybe the market is just too crazy with the pandemic for people to draw any conclusions. I'm not sure. And like I said, when you're talking about print, there is no exclusivity to Amazon. They're not particularly interested in that. Or they would have done something about that. They did. Amazon does mess around with you in print books in terms of if you're only going through Ingramspark and you're expecting your Ingramspark books, paper books, to make it on Amazon, they do give a preference to books that you publish through KDP Print. But you can publish at Barnes and Noble and it will end up on Amazon, but they're not going to let people see it unless they go searching for it. So going wide is a really complicated, long game. You can't expect to slap everything up on all the other platforms and start making big bucks in a month or two. You need to think about it as a year or two. It takes a long time to do all of the setup and all of the work to get all your books visible in all those places. And it's worth it. I know people who make more on Kobo or more on Apple or more on Google Play than they do on Amazon. And they were making good money on Amazon. So, and the thing you need to think about is for each of these platforms, you're going to get out of them what you put into them. If you don't go and apply for any of the promos on any of those other platforms like Kobo or Barnes and Noble, you're just going to sit there. Your books are going to sit there the same way they sit there on Amazon when you don't do any marketing. And as far as books to read links, they were developed by D2D, who's one of the aggregators. They are it's a free link that's created. A reader clicks the book link for the first time, and they're given a one-time choice of which store they'll be sent to. You know, if they have a Kobo reader, they'll click Kobo, or a Kindle, they'll click a Kindle reader, and they'll be sent to Amazon every time after that they encounter a books to read link. And it's a free service, and sometimes they have issues. But for the most part, that's what most people are using, so that they can just give one link for their book instead of giving links to 5 or 6 or 7 different stores. When you're thinking about the wide market, Amazon tends to be really focused on North America, on the US and Canada. I mean, they do have British stores, they do have Australian stores, they do have Indian stores in India, but the wide market is hugely global. Apple has much more reach in the world than Amazon does, and Kobo does as well. They're international companies, and Amazon has still not translated itself as globally wide as it could. So you need to think about the kinds of things that other people in other countries are not going to understand in your books. There are certain things that just don't translate. And so keep that in mind when you're thinking about it. And readers do like to live in an ecosystem. They don't want it. If I have a Kindle, and I have an iPhone, but I generally don't read in iBooks. I have a Kobo reader app on my phone. I don't generally read in it, but occasionally I will download some free stuff and read there, but it's not my main ecosystem. And each store really is different. From the minute you go to upload something, to where you check your reports, to who has promotions and how you go about applying for those promotions. The one thing that you'll find when you start to go wide is that the people who buy on Kobo and the people who buy on Apple are used to spending more for books than the people who buy on Amazon. While there is a push for free books on all of those places, but the box sets, it's not unusual to find a box set of 5 books for 15, 20, 25 bucks. They're not going to be the $9.99 that you find them on Amazon. So your prices are going to need to probably go up. If you're one of those people who's been pricing your books at 99 cents or $2.99, your novels, you're going to need to start raising your prices. And you have to do it everywhere, because most stores don't have most stores have clauses saying you can't have a cheaper price somewhere else. And this is a tricky thing. I know that a lot of people say you should be optimizing your price by country, and have it end in 99 cents or 50 cents, something that makes sense. But the thing is, if you have 30 or 40 books or short stories or pieces that you are selling, that means you need to keep on track of every single one of them and optimize and keep them optimized, because the currencies shift. And wow. So I basically looked at that advice and went, yeah, that's not worth my time. You do need to do your own marketing, and you need to, the thing that Matt told us years ago is that you need to have a strategy and then look at your tools. And having a strategy for publishing wide is so much more complicated than having a strategy for publishing on Amazon. And, start small. Maybe you want to just say, well, this year I'm gonna raise the amount of money that I gain on Kobo. And so maybe for that year, you'll just focus on learning Kobo, on getting to be better, getting into all those promotions and raising your income there. And maybe the next year you'll tackle Apple or Barnes and Noble. But don't just, throw yourself out there and do this and that and this and that and this and that and go crazy and drive yourself insane. People are getting free books somewhere. You need to find out where your readers are going for free books. Maybe you need to take a poll in your newsletter and find out where they get them. Are they getting them from free promotions, that newsletter promotions, like the ones that we used to sign up for BookFunnel, that where people would collect your email address so you'd be on their newsletter list? Are they getting them? Are they just scanning the store and finding out what's free and downloading it? One of the things that I've heard over and over again from the writers who I follow is that their best thing is to make the first in their series perma-free and on all the various vendors, and just keep it there. Now, it's tricky when you do that with Amazon because it goes against their terms of service. If you write to them nicely and say, I want to make my book perma-free, they may or may not make your book free. And they may or may not keep it free if they make it free. I asked to do that, and they kept my book free for about 3 or 4 months, and then they put it back up to whatever price I'd had it before without me knowing it. So it's tricky if you want to couple that perma-free thing with advertising, because I've heard of so many people who have thought their book was perma-free, and they bought a Fussy Librarian ad or one of the newsletter ads, and before the newsletter came out, Amazon had put their book back up at the regular price, and so it was still free at all the other places, but it was not free on Amazon, and people were pissed, and the writer was pretty frustrated about the whole thing. So don't count on Amazon in terms of your promotions that they're going to keep your book free. There are so many markets. Every time I go to the various aggregators, I found another market that they've added. And so you basically are going to have to do your own research, because your career is going to be different than mine. Even if you write fantasy, it's still going to be different. You have a different audience. So basically you need to find out from your readers where they go, because you are selling to them. And maybe it's going to be that you want to be selling from your website. Maybe it's going to be that you want to sell every single place you can and take advantage of the promos available from Kobo or Barnes and Noble or Apple. So you need to do put some thought into the marketing, because it's vastly complicated, and I don't pretend to understand it, because I have not done any marketing on any of them for over a year, and because I've just been too fried, and the pandemic is changing everything. One thing that you will need to do is to make yourself a spreadsheet or a list with all your book information and all the links for all the stores in there. because when you're not going to get people buying your book at Kobo if you can't give out that Kobo link, whether it's on your website or whether it's on a books to read link, or, if you're on social media, you need to be sending people to those stores looking for your books. I'm going to talk about the platforms. There are so many, and there's no rule that says you can't use all of the aggregators. And the aggregators are basically people who you upload your files to, and then they push them out to the stores. Right now, there's 3 main aggregators, but each one of them has some stores that are duplicates, and each one of them has stores that are unique to that aggregator. So you want to make sure when you are uploading to different aggregators that you're not duplicating the stores. And the other thing I would say is to go direct wherever it makes sense to you. On Barnes & Noble, if you go to Barnes & Noble through D2D or one of the other aggregators, you're not going to be able to take advantage of the promotions that they offer. And the same with Kobo. Although D2D has its own Kobo promotions, and Apple basically has said, we don't care where you go, you have access to whatever you have access to. So it's, again, more complications. The first one I'm going to talk about is D2D, and there's a list of all of the stores that they push your books out to. Audiobooks, they also do audiobooks through, I believe it's through Findaway. I don't think it's through the other one whose name has escaped me at the moment. They also are doing print. I don't have any information about their print on how good it is, if the copies are great. They are distributing through Ingram, which is, gets you into bookstores. I'm not sure if they're pushing you out to libraries or not. They do get you into Amazon, but really, if you want your print books on Amazon, I would be uploading to KDP Print. I would like to talk about before I go any further, I'll talk about it in a couple of minutes. Never mind. Smashwords is another aggregator. They were one of the first ones, and maybe they were the first one. I still am putting my stuff up on Smashwords as well as D2D. They used to have kind of a hinky interface. It's gotten better. They do a lot of they have a twice yearly sale. You can get coupon codes for them to give away to your fan base. It's they reach some places other places don't. I've had a lot of interesting library sales from weird libraries through Smashwords, and at the end of the year when libraries were ditching out all of they had some money and they needed to spend it, and they would buy chunks of books. And, I've gotten a couple of $80, $90 checks just from that. So that was, that's always a nice surprise. The thing to think about with all of these stores is when you have a good month at Amazon, you get a fairly large chunk of money, and you're getting it from one store. With going wide, you are getting $5 here, $10 here, maybe $15 there, maybe $20 there, and then maybe another $5 over here. And you have to think of it as they're all little trickles coming into your bank account. It's not one big payout like Amazon. And hopefully you're getting still a decent amount of money from Amazon too. But it's just, I kind of have felt like you need to just get money where you can get it and keep going. Now, Publish Drive is is a bit newer. It's much more international. They are trying to be the the be all end all of indie publishing at the moment. They're doing print on demand. They're doing audio. They're doing a ton of different stores. I think it's interesting that they have the Chinese ebook stores as one of their vendors. China is a huge market. It's not particularly focused on English language at this point, but there's a lot of it. There's a lot of possibilities there. The one thing I would say about any of these aggregators is do not go with just one. Do not just go through the stores with through all of the stores with one of these. I would never go through Amazon to through aggregator. I would never go through, for me, with Apple and Kobo. I used to go direct to Barnes and Noble, but then they were looking like they were dying, so I pulled all my stuff and then went through an aggregator because I figured I would at least maybe get my money. But Barnes and Noble is not looking like it's dying anymore, so who knows? Publish Drive right now has an AppSumo deal where you can get, they want you to pay basically to go through them. And it's $69 for 24 books or $139 for 96 books. I put the link in the chat, and if Matt wants to repaste it in, that would be fabulous. And you can go look it up and see if it's something that you want to do. I currently don't use Publish Drive, although I know a lot of people who do. I don't know how long this deal is going to be on for. It's been on for a week or two now, and usually they'll put a countdown on the page if it's about to go away. There's a lot of good stores here, and some of them you can reach through the other places, and some you can only reach through here. I haven't yet to decide if this is worth it for me, since I'm not doing audio and the print on demand. I already go through Amazon and Ingram, but we'll see. I'm going to think about it, but I wanted to let you all know that it's there. Another thing I'm going to talk about is there is a company called Scribe Count, and they're basically, I don't know if all of you know about Book Report. Book Report is a free report tracking software, but it only tracks your reports from Amazon. And you basically sign up for a account, and they at a certain point you have to start paying once you start making a certain amount per month. I'm not there yet. And Scribe Count used to charge, but now they've decided that from now on, their report tracking software is going to be free until you make $1,000 a month. They will give you all sorts of charts and great information and pie charts about how much you're making at Kobo, how much you're making at Barnes and Noble, how much you're making at Amazon, how much you're making at all the vendors. It's really fabulous. So if I were you, I would go sign up now. Well, or wait till I'm done. But I think it's well worth the free price. Okay, this is another, they're not an aggregator. They are another thing. They began life as a bundler, and I used to have a lot of my short stories and some of my novels in bundles. Someone would come and say, oh, I want to do a cozy mystery bundle. And they would go and look through the market of people who had uploaded their books there. And if they knew somebody who was an indie published person who didn't have their books on Amazon in KU, they would ask them to upload, their book and be part of this bundle. And so there was once one that was Cozy Mysteries that I participated in. And so basically they put together this bundle of 3 or 4, it's more like 6 cozy mysteries, and wrapped a theme around it, and then they published it wide. This bundle for, $3 you could get 6 murder mysteries or whatever it was, and then you get a chunk of that bundle, your percentage of that bundle. It's really straightforward. The guy who started this company is an indie writer. He's a fabulous guy. They're very responsive, and it's just it's worthwhile to do if you're writing something that's popular, and put your stuff up there. If you're publishing wide, there's no reason why. There's nothing you have to lose.
So may I ask, please, about the pub share? This is Diana.
Yeah.
Does one go there to apply like you apply to promos on Story Origin or Book Funnel, or how do you go about that pub share?
No, it's basically you go there and you sign up, open an account, give them all of your information, where to send the money, that kind of stuff. And then you just upload your files, and fill in all the metadata and stuff. And basically you wait. However, if you are motivated, you could put together your own bundle. And,
okay, thank you.
There's a whole marketplace, and it's divided up by genre. So it's not a promotion as much as it is, let's get together. That way we, the 6 of us who write, romantic suspense can launch this bundle at an appropriate time, do the promotion for it, and everybody can cross promote. So it gives you lots of networking opportunities. And I went in there because I have a network who was using that. And so I don't know how successful it is if you don't have an existing network. It might be. There were random people who said, ooh, you wrote this story about a cat. I'm doing this series of anthologies called Cat Tales. And so I was like in 4 different anthologies of them, because they kept saying, do you have any more? Do you have any more? Oh, well, I'm going to do number 3 now. Do you have another one? So it's, and they've done a lot of other things. They're doing a lot of other things there. I didn't go too much in depth into what they're doing new, because I'm kind of burnt out right now on life. But there's a lot of opportunities there for somebody who was interested in exploring it. Does that answer your question, Diana?
Yes, thanks very much.
Okay. I'm not talking about Amazon here, because you all know about Amazon. Barnes & Noble is one of those who has promotions if you go direct, which I found now that I've put everything through D2D, but who knows, I might go back and just, pull everything from D2D and go direct again, so that I can do promotions. They're a store that's worth doing. They used to be great for romance, cozy mystery, and fantasy. I have no idea what they are now. If they've changed if their readership has shifted or not. Kobo is massive in Canada. They're the main store for Canada. They also have a ton of promotions, and it's worth doing those promotions. You will get turned down quite a bit for the promotions. I think there's a lot of competition for them, but I've gotten in a couple. It was worth it. I made some bucks. Apple has a lot of reach. You used to need a Mac to upload to them directly. You don't anymore. They do have promotions. It's kind of dodgy. I have not figured out how to get into their promotions. So I can't tell you anything about them, but the people who have gotten into the promotions seem to be very happy. And there's an iBooks, or I guess it's now called Books, app on every single iPhone that comes with it. And that's a huge market. I don't know how many people read in that app, whether they, just upload a Kindle app instead. But something to think about. Google Play, it's complicated to sign up. They have a bad rep because they used to discount in the US. They used to discount. They still do globally. They don't discount anymore in the US. It also is a huge platform. Yes, I've heard mixed reviews about it. But I know a lot of people who are just killing it on Google. I am not one of them, but I don't have any novels uploaded there. It's taken me, they're a relatively new store for me, and I've gone direct with them. The only aggregator that goes to them is that pushes stuff out is Publish Drive. And since I've gone direct, I've only uploaded a few stories. So, my short stories don't tend to sell that well. So, anywhere. So, print. Now, print's a little bit more complicated. It's gotten, we have a lot more choices now than we did. If you want to go wide with print and you're published on Amazon, you must uncheck expanded distribution on your books and only use Amazon to get into the Amazon stores. Otherwise, you're going to be in a whole world of trouble, and it's just going to make a big mess out of everything. Ingramspark is the world's largest distributor. It's huge. TradPub uses them. And so they are built to deal with traditional publishers. It's you don't have to buy ISBNs anymore, but they will be listed. Ingramspark will be listed as a publisher, not you, if you don't provide your own ISBN. They do have upload and change fees. It costs $50 to upload a book to Ingramspark if you don't have a coupon. Right now, the only way that I know that you can do it for free is if you are a member of ALLI, ALLI, which is the Alliance of Independent Authors or something like that. Or if, oh crap. Or there's also the Independent Book Publishers Association. I believe that's what they're called. They used to have basically a code that you could use to upload for free. Periodically, Ingramspark will do a special, like after NaNoWriMo, and if you participated in NaNoWriMo, then you can upload books for 2 or 3 months for free. But when you are uploading to Ingramspark, it's important that your book be absolutely and totally ready to go. Your cover will be different than the cover that you use for Amazon, because Ingramspark uses a different paper and the spine is thinner. So you need to make sure you've got your ducks in a row, unless you want to pay all those change fees. And yeah, I don't like them. They have incorporated a thing where you can sell the paper books on your website, and Ingramspark will distribute them. A lot of people have been having problems with Ingramspark lately. I've never had a problem with them, but I just use them to go to libraries and to go to bookstores, indie bookstores. Excuse me. I buy my author copies from Amazon. because Ingramspark is just the shipping is just cost prohibitive for buying author copies. I'm not going to talk about Barnes and Noble and about D2D in terms of paper books, because I don't have any experience with either of them. They're such new entities. But so I would suggest you go out and find your own information, do your networking, and talk to people. The best place to do this in terms of that I've seen right now is the Wide for the Wind Facebook group. Their website is fabulous. And if you read when you go to their page and join, if you read where was it? There's a pinned post that says basically, this is where the files are. I can't remember where they put them, but there are tons and tons of files. Any question you could think of has probably been asked there and addressed and saved in this particular place. And they have it cataloged by topic. And
is that the Tree of Knowledge? Is that?
Yes. Okay. Yes. Exactly. That's what it's called. And there's a little video that tells you how to work the Tree of Knowledge. And I watched it because I thought, I don't need to see this. And then I watched it and I went, holy shit, there's a lot there that I never realized. And so I started reading some of their posts, and there's a wide range of writers there. It started out as a group of romance writers, and it's now been infiltrated by all the other genres. And the people there are incredibly giving, and they don't pull any punches either. But don't go there to talk about Amazon, because that's not the point of the group. Another one a book I read was called, it's getting older now, but it's called Going Wide Unboxed by Patty Jansen, who is also a member of the Wide for the Wind group, and she's an Australian writer. And that was a great book. And Killing It on Kobo is by Mark Leslie Lefevre, and he used to work at Kobo, and now he works at D2D. But that tells you some of this stuff on Kobo that you will never have realized existed, even by poking around for years on there. And then the rest of the links are just some other stuff that I found. But this is a huge, complicated subject. There's so much to cover, and I couldn't possibly cover it in 2 or 3 hours. But it really is a long game, and you need to be willing to do the work, is what it comes down to. I'm happier being wide than I am being exclusive to Amazon. As much as I like Amazon, I don't want them to be the only game in town, and I don't want to be dependent on, them, because there's not a tech company in this country that hasn't failed. And I don't want to be, I don't feel comfortable having all my eggs in one basket. But it is a lot of work. So I'm going to exit out of this, and I will stop sharing my screen somehow. Let's see. And I don't know if, okay, stop sharing. Okay. Let's see. I don't know if there's let me see if I can find a link to the Tree of Knowledge. Oh, crap. I have way too much stuff on here. So if anybody has any questions.
This is great.
go
Yeah,
ahead and
Linda, how much does newsletters factor into your selling and going wide, and maybe speak on what other people are doing in order to build their newsletters for being a wide author?
Okay, just a sec, I'll get to that. Okay, so on the Wide for the Win, the Tree of Knowledge stuff is under announcements. Okay, as far as being a newsletters, I've been doing a newsletter for quite a while, and I've always had it. And for a couple of years there, I was doing a newsletter every 2 weeks. And I would generally give people, as many links as I could. My strategy has always been send people to my website, because my website has all the links. And then for the past couple of years, I've been messing around with KU. So the newsletter hasn't, other than just sending people to my website for everything, that was it.
Can you comment, please, for those of us who are in KU now and planning to go wide, can you comment on an approach to maximize the KU gumption before it's gone? I imagine using the 5 days of freebie promos wouldn't be a bad idea, and maybe an e-newsletter mention of, honey, it's about to go out of KU, so read it while you can. Might not be a bad idea, but do you have any other ideas?
I would just start that spreadsheet and figure out how you're going to which aggregators you're going to use, if you're going to use any, which places you're going to upload to. I've never been great about being able to deal with KU. Maybe do one last newsletter push, paid newsletter push. The ones that Matt was suggesting doing was pick a week that you're going to do your promotion, right? That you're going to have your book for free on KU, and maybe the first day do one paid newsletter. Maybe the second day contact your mailing list. Maybe on the third day pick, blog about it and do all your social media. Maybe on the fourth and fifth day, do a couple more newsletters, paid newsletters, and just, slam it out there as best you can. And then, maybe do that like a few weeks before you're going to take it out of KU altogether, so you can get those page reads. It's different for everybody. I mean, I would be thinking more about how you're gonna launch yourself wide, and all the things that you need to get lined up. There was a really good post in that Tree of Knowledge on the Wide for the Win Facebook group about how to set yourself up wide, and they had a list of like 10 things you should be doing, and I looked at that and went, oh my God, I hadn't even thought of doing some of those things, and the other things I just did all the time. So does that answer your question?
Yeah, I think so. Thank you. It is a complicated thing. I have one other question. I'm just now uploading my first ever paperback to Ingramspark, and it seemed to take the internal file just fine, but
yeah.
I didn't see a way to approve my cover there, so I don't know if the one that I have will work or not. Is that something that they send it back later for me to look at?
Wow. So there was not a link there, huh?
No, I didn't see it anywhere. It just said approve things, and I was thinking, well, geez, approving without seeing the cover seems funny, but maybe they send it
Yeah.
later.
You can, I think there's a proof you could download. I don't know if it's interior or not. Because my process when I do that is I'm using vellum for the interior. I know it's going to flag something is wrong because it always does. And vellum has a warning about that. And then the cover, I'm clear on the cover. There is that it's right, that it has the ISBN on it because it has the barcode on it, and that the spine is the correct thing, because I made it. I know exactly what that cover is going to look like. There is when you approve it, you approve the whole book, but I know that before it goes to review, you can download a proof of it, but I don't know if that includes the cover. And I don't know if there's a way to do it afterwards. What I would do if I were you is I would call them, because they're, if you can get a person on the phone, they're pretty responsive. I know that it sounds like a lot of them are working from home these days, because
Linda?
of the pandemic. Yeah.
You can't call them anymore.
You can't call them anymore?
No, they only deal by email, and you can expect a day or two lag for response on your email. But
Okay.
only wholesalers can call them now.
Oh, of course. Yeah, Diana. So I would say try to email them and just say, I want, this is my first time and I just want to make sure my cover's okay. Is there a way I can download it and take a look at it before I approve the book?
Okay, thank you.
And I will tell you that before, that because they are used to working with traditional pub, that there are places on Ingramspark where it basically says, do you want to take returns? Always check no, unless you want to deal with returns. And most indie writers don't. However, most indie writers do give a 40% discount. So you need to make sure your book is priced at the same prices that TradPub is using. My books are priced $14.99 for my fantasies, because when I started, that was normal for trade paperbacks that were fantasy.
May I ask,
yeah,
that price that you're talking about is what the customer is charged, though, correct?
Yes, right.
Okay, because
and
my worry, this is just a novella. It's
Uh-huh.
only 200 something pages, and so I had wanted it at a reasonable entry price of $8.99, but with the discount, you end up losing money, and so I don't mind giving a book away for free to try to get my foot in the door, but to lose money is terrible. But at the same time,
Okay.
Who's going to pay $15 for a novella?
Right. How many words is it?
40,000 words.
40,000. Okay, so novels start at 40,000 words. So you're maybe just under or maybe just over. I sell my 50,000 word novels at $14.99. And they're, around a couple hundred pages. You're really close to the novel price, so maybe you want to make it, $13.99 or $12.99 or something, but don't make it $9.99. You need to make some profit on it, and you need to make enough profit on it that you can give a 40% discount to a wholesaler.
Okay, thank you.
Because otherwise, bookstores are not going to ever take your book. Libraries will not take your book. So you need to, make sure that you're giving enough, that your price is high enough to make that happen. because
Okay.
the wholesalers want to make money too.
Okay, but on Amazon, those books go for like $8.99, which is where I was getting the prices. So is it okay then to almost double the price at Ingram, but have it less at Amazon?
No, you need to have the same price at all places, because otherwise people are going to, I don't know if there's a if there's a terms of service issue about that. But if I would guess there would be, if you're offering the same book at the same price. Are you using the same ISBN on both books?
Yes. Well, actually, yes, that's my plan.
Then I'm guessing you probably need to make sure it's the same price on both places. I would raise your price on Amazon.
Okay, thank you.
Do you have the price printed on the book cover?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah, I would raise your price at Amazon to match it. And if you are uploading at both Amazon and Ingram, upload at Amazon first. Otherwise, you will get flagged at Ingram. Otherwise, if you upload at Ingram first, you get flagged on Amazon that ISBN is already in use. And I've heard similar things about Barnes and Noble and D2D, but I don't know that that's the case. So it's I can't give you all the answers, and because it's
sure, of course. Yeah. Of course. Then is changing the price on Ingramspark part of a new $49 adjustment or no?
A new $49 adjustment?
Every time you change your book, it's $49. Does that include prices then?
Well, you haven't approved it, but so I don't know.
I'll just email him.
I would ask that question in the email. Yeah. Yeah. And Ingramspark is print on demand. Yes, basically. And I don't know if I missed any other. Questions. Matt, did I miss questions? Matt's up dressing like a princess.
No, I very close to being a princess. No, I think everybody came off mute and asked most of the questions. If anybody has any additional questions, feel free to come off mute and ask. Otherwise, we can say thank you to Linda. Thank you for your help, Linda. This is always a difficult subject, and there's a lot of things to consider. And I think pointing people to the good resources that you did is helpful. I'll make sure to put this video up on our YouTube page, which is now public. If you search for it, you can watch these videos now all the time. Go give us views, subscribe, do all the nice things. Thank you, Linda, for your time. I know there's a lot of work to put this stuff together, so we appreciate it.
Fantastic job, Linda. This has really helped with something very scary.
Yeah. It was, I started out doing it, so it wasn't scary. Well, I mean, it was always scary, but it wasn't scarier than just being on Amazon. So, Tony, what you do next is you go and open accounts at all of the places that you want to go direct and at all of the aggregators that you want to use. That's your next step, because it takes a while to get everything set up, to get your bank accounts synced or your PayPal synced or whoever they use to send you money with. So, I mean, I'm using 2 aggregators and I'm going direct with 4 or 5 stores. And, nobody's going to come knocking at your door if you screw it up. So,